Hi, everyone. Aaron Smith with EEBA. Today, I have the pleasure of being joined by a great old friend, Paul Shahriari. Paul is the Chief Innovation Officer for Ecomedes.com. And if you don't know it, we're here to tell you about it again. But we have an EEBA Ecomedes database that Paul's going to take you through that really seeks to, as the title says, simplify sustainability. So, Paul, welcome.
Thank you very much, Aaron. Let me make sure all the slides are proper. All right. Well, thanks for having me. We're very proud to support your great work at EEBA, and we're going to walk everyone through a demo of the site and how it works and answer any questions along the way. So let's get started.
Perfect. And again, if you have questions, just put them in the Q&A, and I'll ask Paul as we go through. I'll try to think of some great questions to ask you too, Paul. But I've been a longtime user of Ecomedes, both from the customer side and from the client side, in kind of loading all my products when I was on the manufacturing side up into one location, making it easy to find energy efficiency data, water efficiency data, EPDs, HPDs, declare labels, all of that great stuff. So Paul will take you through the nuts and bolts, but put your Q&A in the Q&A section. Thanks, Paul.
Wonderful. Thanks, Aaron. Thanks for the introduction, and thanks for supporting the platform for so many years. So we're going to give you a quick introduction as to what Ecomedes is all about, just kind of center you guys on what we do on a day-to-day basis. Then we're going to walk you through all the different features and functionality of the EEBA portal that we've built. I'll walk you through how searching works, analyzing, calculating, sharing, building information, and going all the way through to be able to put that out into the world when we're documenting. And also, it's a tool you can leverage with your entire project team, your subcontractors, your trade partners, anybody that's on the team that wants to see it, and all the way down to the home buyers looking to better understand the green options all of you amazing high-performance builders are using.
And Paul, probably for this group, I mean, our intuition is that this would really help our energy rater partners gather data for our Energy Star rating or Indoor Air Plus rating or Zero Energy Ready Home rating or beyond a LEED or Passive House or Living Building Challenge, whatever it might be. It's all that data in one location, right?
Yep, we've gathered as much as we can. We're up to 81 different unique sources. So Ecomedes is a climate tech company focused on a mission that's very straightforward. We want to accelerate sustainability and profitability by everyone, by saving them time and energy in the work that it takes to actually find better products, managing that data, looking for it, evaluating, purchasing better products. All that's the core of what we want to simplify, because our belief is that if we can simplify some of those kind of tedious workflows, we can scale sustainability throughout the built environment, and especially in support of EEBA and the members that you guys have. So energy raters are a definite important part of that whole mix. It takes a village of designers and builders and contractors and manufacturers to deliver all those ingredients to the job site, put them together, and then deliver a beautiful, sustainable, healthy home to the client. Recently, we actually last year purchased another company called Mortar, and we've actually now expanded how we can help product teams and project teams influence their work. So with Mortar on the far left-hand side of the screen, we have beautiful installation images of successful case studies or project photos that you could always upload. Both platforms are free for the builder community to use. Grab those installation photos, grab those beautiful pictures, and what you can do is actually identify not only you as a builder or an architect or anybody involved with the space, manufacturer, distributor, but put little dots on it. And we always say we connect the dots, but now we literally have dots in the Mortar platform where that dot will signify who made that product, and then with one click get to all the information around the eco data, where to buy, download a spec, download a PDF, get a sample, and in some cases, contact the manufacturer, and you can also put them into a design room. So we're not going to focus on that today. We'll probably I think we have another webinar that we're going to talk about that workflow. But ultimately, we want to make it easy to find the right ingredients to make high-performance green building and residential projects a reality. And we do that by being the largest impact-aware product catalog. And we're constantly evolving the data. We have over 81 different data sources that we pull in. So as we say, we connect the dots. So we take brand data, company-related data, things like B Corp certification, carbon certification, all that kind of stuff at a brand level, at a product level, eco attributes. And the crux of most of the data we're out looking for is usually tied to some kind of an ecolabel certification standard. Many of the kind of journeys we begin on that project process come from those sources, and we have over 800,000 products being updated on a monthly basis with one or multitudes of these ecolabels pulling in. So you don't have to go to all these different registries each time. We have that stuff all consolidated in one spot. And anytime a manufacturer has multiple certifications, ecolabels, or performance elements to their name, all that's amalgamated, put together, curated. And Ecomedes is essentially your free kind of unpaid intern, if you would. So we have all that data and it flows into this gigantic database. And one of the things we worked hard on is to like understand what people are looking for the data in regards to. So like we have the search by impact that just got launched last year. You can search by things that have an ROI impact, an energy impact, a water impact, a health impact, a carbon impact, a circularity impact, or the major rating systems, or just search by category or ecolabel. So we've used that same super big, large, powerful database to create one very much specifically for this market and for this constituency and all the members of EEBA. So we have all this ecolabel certification data on the left-hand side. You can see that in the parentheses, we actually tell you how many products have met that guideline. So if you're looking for a product with an LCA or an EPD, you'll literally know exactly how many currently exist in the database as you begin that hunt for the right product material. If your client's asking for lower embodied energy, if you're looking for energy savings, you can go right to Energy Star without having to go to that database and doing all those subsequent searches. All that stuff's being brought to you to your desktop on any web connected device. Works the best on either an iPad or a computer. But if you're in a pinch at a job site, if you got a decent size iPhone or Samsung, you can actually go through the entire database like that. It's free for anyone looking for this information. The more people that are deciding on products on a project, the better, because that way everyone can kind of do their own stuff. If you have your drywall interiors contractor, they can find all the drywall, all the mud, all that stuff on one side. If you have an appliance or a kitchen contractor, they can find all those things. The plumbers can find everything from water sense, all at their fingertips. Again, 80 different ecolabels and 200 other brands work with us directly, and we actually manage their environmental database, which then is synchronized to the EEBA database. So some brands want to enrich that data, give us much more information to help you find them easier. We specialize in that as well. So we help the buyer side and the seller side. And like I said before, unlike a typical database of just showing you the data, my background in consulting before I built technology about 15 years ago, I actually wanted the tool to actually do that homework. So we've got embedded calculators for ROI we'll talk about in demo. We also have evaluation tools for lead and other rating systems. We are working to expand that into the residential realm as we get more and more brands online that want to do that. And everything that you want from a documentation standpoint at a product level and a project level is one click away, documentable and savable to your free account. So I'll show you that in our demo today. So it's really designed to do three things. We want to make it easy. So that's our job. You get to work faster. That's your job. And homes get greener as a result. So we're going to cover all the different ways that this tool is available to you today to start playing around with the information, analyzing your impacts on energy, water, and health, sharing that across the teams and making it really easy. And the more we can learn about what you need, we'd love to keep evolving the tool. This industry never stops evolving itself. So we want to keep track of what we can do to make your life a little easier. So account sign up, if you have 2 monitors, please feel free. I don't mind. Just go to eeba.ecomedes.com. And in the upper right-hand corner, you just sign up. Just sign up with your email address, password. If you forget it, we'll send it to you. Just make sure it's a real email address. Hopefully it's at your company. If not, you can use Gmail, whatever the designation is, create a password. And that's just going to unlock a couple features for you, like analysis of products, downloading a documentation, but mostly it's so you can save the work on your projects. So if you're out there looking at 3 different toilets on a job, you can put them into a project, save them, analyze them, and then figure out which one's the best ROI, take the other 2 out of the project. Now you know what toilet you want, and then slowly build from there, whether it's next on the lighting, HVAC, water heaters, the rest. All that information can be pulled together into like one common set of ingredients and analyze that at the top. So anyone could create an account. It's free. Share it with friends and family, whoever does it. I had to replace a refrigerator, and my wife thought I was the biggest dork in the world. I brought an iPad to Home Depot and Lowe's and was price shopping and eco data shopping, and she was just so embarrassed. But in the end, we found the right GE refrigerator that she wanted with 2 ice makers, one in the door and then one in the bottom. So I got my way. So the thing is that we have all of the search driven by data. So we're a database, we're a data company. So here what's nice is you can search by impact. We have the same feature that we have on our main site for EEBA users. So search by impact is essentially attaching those impacts to the eco labels and certifications you might care about. So instantly you have access to, if you said ROI, everything that saves energy and water will pop up as a sub filter. If you hit energy, it'll be only the things that are tied to energy, and also only the things that are tied to eco labels and certifications tied to energy. So you might see Energy Star, EPEAT, things like that. Click on water, you're going to see things that are going to help you save water. So that's going to be primarily WaterSense and a couple others. So every time you do a search, we're trying to make it easier and also better understand what you're looking for. So maybe there's some searches you're doing and maybe we don't have enough data. We can actually help our brand partners to figure out, hey, a lot of people are looking for this kind of a product with this kind of an impact. Maybe there's an opportunity. You can search by category. So we have graphical representations of the main categories. You also have a pull down menu. And as you select the category, you'll see a product subcategory pop up. So an example I'll show you is like appliances, and then all the Energy Star appliances will pop up, residential refrigerators or freezers or dishwashers. And then you even have subcategory types from there, all based on, again, on the data that you might be using. You just type in a brand and then you'll get the brand designations. And then every one of the eco labels and certifications are there in the left-hand navigation. So again, all of that's driven by data. When I first met Aaron and we were doing this company, Ecomedes, we had about 35 different attributes that we were managing for a couple of our first clients. So it wasn't that big of a spreadsheet, wasn't that hard. A lot of rows back then, but we didn't have a lot of columns of data. We now have over 3,000 independent variables that our manufacturers and our eco labels send us. So it's gotten pretty complex. So we try to make sure none of that is really beholden on you to go out and find and analyze. So an example would be, I'm looking for HVAC. I need a ventilation fan. So within 2 filters, you're going to go through a couple tens of thousands of products in that category down to ventilation fans. And then you'll end up with the 956 results that are Energy Star. So every single product on the Energy Star website in this category is all available to you. And then down below, you'll see all these brands. And in the little parentheses, you'll see how many products are available from the various different brands. In this example, GreenHeck has 4. They've also been a partner of EEBA and ours. So they've updated and enriched their data, and all 4 of the products have pictures. You'll notice that a lot of the eco labels that we get data from, it's great data, but one of the things that typically is missing from them is pictures. So if you enrich your data, you choose to do that with us, we'll be happy to put your pictures and other things like hyperlinks back to your webpage, where to buy links and things like that. We want to make it easier for the buy side and the sell side to come together and find those ingredients quickly. Another example would be looking for construction materials under building insulation or roofing products. And if you were to select a brand like Certainteed, you'll then get 956 choices, 64 in insulation, 256 in building roof products. And then you'll see their breakdown of how many products had EPDs, how many products had Green Circle certification, HPDs, LCAs, and Green Guard Gold. So again, as you're refining by brand, you can just pop their brand into the filter. That'll create a meta filter, and then you'll see every single category of data. But really powerfully, builders love the fact that they can actually then see what eco labels do these manufacturers have to their name before they go too far down the specification or procurement path, because they might have already a designation that needs to be EPD compliant, Energy Star compliant. So this data filtration is very, very good for doing that research that normally you'd have to usually hire a consultant for, or take a valuable team member off their normal tasks of building and designing homes and actually going to try to go scavenge hunt this data off of Google. So it's all available to you, updated, and all the data sources here, eco labels, are always updated on a monthly basis. So that's available to you. Certainteed's a partner of ours, and they provide all the nice pictures. They even have multiple locations of manufacturing to find a local plant near you in case you're worried about that. So when you find data on our platform, there's a couple different ways to share it. A lot of the young designers and builders like the fact that they have this access to data, and it's all interconnected. So in this case, this USG sheetrock, it has multiple certifications. I know this is small in a live demo. This will make a lot more sense, but every place that we have a certification or eco label, where available, we'll have a hyperlink for the user directly back to that actual document. So rather than going on multiple little mini scavenger hunts on these different registry pages for eco labels, you'll have a direct access point to that PDF in case you need to look at that data more closely. You'll see here they have human health related stuff. They have their global warming potential from their carbon data. They have recycled content based on manufacturing locations. They have other materiality and a bunch of data on chemical avoidance. So it's all structured data. You don't have to build spreadsheets anymore. That's why I've got gray hair. But that's all provided to you, and you have access to that entire page. Since we have structured data, that allows us to do something that a lot of builders are always asking for. Can I look at multiple brands side by side? So if you found some results in drywall, and then you said, I want to look at something from Georgia Pacific, Gold Bond, USG, and American Gypsum, you can line up that data side by side and then see where the gaps are, because we're structured, everyone that has an EPD will basically pop up. So 1 out of these 4 products have an EPD, 1 of them have an HPD, 1 of them have a living product declare certification. So if you were really going heavy into a project that needed the carbon embodied data and maybe the health declaration or the healthy product designations, you might want to go with this product, because now you're seeing side by side without having to build your own little spreadsheet or highlight a bunch of PDFs that you downloaded in your spare time. That all is there. Now, all of them have Green Guard certification. So if you just needed baseline data to say, this is good drywall, it doesn't off gas, you'd have that across here. You know, all the certifications, when they expire, who did it. But up here, you might have a little bit more granular information that might help you break the tie if you needed to. So that's beautiful in that regard, that you can get it. And if you were to actually click in any of these pages, you're always able to just grab the URL of that product and then use that for whatever it is you're looking for. So it makes it easy to kind of grab the information from a comparison or from a product page and then share that out. So I'm going to grab this really quickly as if I was just working with all of you on a project actively. And I'm just going to drop that in the chat so you guys can see that if you were to click on it, you'll see the availability to see all the information in the process. I guess I will have to send it to Aaron, and then Aaron can share that with you guys, because I cannot share.
Yep, I'll do it right now, Paul. Thanks.
Great, no worries. So that's a nice way to share it. It's a very modern way of kind of giving people access to that data that you might want to have at your fingertips, but then there might be another decision maker. A lot of brands, subcontractors, and distributors sometimes roll this up to the builder while they're doing their bid evaluation. So they'll take all the products that they're looking to bid with and saying, hey, here are all the bona fides for these products that we have included in our bid. And this is another way to do that. Very, very straightforward. So on the data side, we're the best in the industry. I think we do it better than anyone else in the world. And then what we want to do is then make that data actionable. I've always asked my clients, hey, can you tell us how we can do some of this stuff when maybe you're not on site, when you're not doing the consulting for us? And one of the impetuses of Ecomedes was to leverage that data into decision making. So we've baked into this product, the certainty installation, all that data that we just reviewed. And then you have this little thing called documentation. You can actually document and have like essentially the Ecomedes internal consultant, or in this case, the EEBA consultant, run through that data in alignment with LEED. So if you just said, I want to know how this product helps me with LEED new construction, you can click the button down here in the dropdown, hit a button. You're going to get all that information for you in 1 sec, right in front from what we call the card view, or some people call it the baseball card. Just a single set of results. Here's your data. If you click on the name of any product in our system in blue, you'll actually end up with this page, which is the full Monty product page. Get all the certifications, all that data. And there's also a button that says document contribution. Click that, select the pull down, and then you'll get the same exact information. So if you know the results and you've already filtered by some of the eco labels you know are good, you can just go and do that documentation right from the card. If you get to the actual page, you can then go further and get the same thing. Both things are available, and then you basically can PDF that answer. So you'll get all the data up above, and now on the bottom of the sheet, it'll say, here's your LEED V4 contributions, or whatever else you're looking for. The product pages also have things like where to buy, find a distributor, find a rep, depending on if the manufacturer has enriched all their data with us and EEBA. So that's a nice way to kind of take a look at this automated analysis without having to constantly grow your team of green people that are maybe not sitting there on the job site and doing that work. 2 other things that are really cool about our tool is we take data from Energy Star and WaterSense, and we convert it to very, very simple and easy to use ROI calculators. So all the light fixtures, I believe fans, a couple of the appliance categories, we take the data from Energy Star, and down below you can say, well, how many of these light fixtures am I putting in the house? How often do we think they're going to run? And it just does a very simple watts and dollars calculation for energy savings based on the selected fixture. You can change a baseline fixture to be incandescent at 60 watts, 32 watts for a compact fluorescent, or say in this case, 11-watt LED fixture that's going to be a recessed LED puck. You can actually take a look at that. It'll also analyze how long that fixture will last. So if you did a long enough horizon, you'll actually see when do you have to replace that fixture in the future. Same thing with plumbing. We could do that with all the water sense data. Slightly different calculation. We'll go into it in the live demo. It's just based on occupancy. And I'll take a look at the toilets, the faucets, the showers, build you basically a water model, and then say how many years will it take to pay back for the fixtures if they're high performance or not. In some cases, it'll be very quick. Some cases might be a little longer, but that watts and water calculation seems to be important to a lot of different home buyers. And we're working on a version to have carbon as the third leg of that kind of ROI impact stool. So later on this year, you should see the carbon calculator added into your workflow.
That's great, Paul.
All right. Any questions in QA that I'm not seeing?
No, let's keep going.
All right. So the real cool part is that whenever I was doing these projects, I'd had all these little spreadsheets. I started having all these little boards with all the data, folders, and then back in the early days of LEED, you actually had to send a gigantic big binder of dead trees over there for them to review. That is all eliminated with our platform. As you find products, you can have an account, create a project. In this case, we'll cover this one called EEBA Training Demo 3.2. And basically, I just dropped a bunch of products in with all the data that we've been kind of covering along the way, and we'll jump into that to kind of show you what the details are. But I can just throw it all into one project, put in some quantities and unit prices if I want. Just having the product data in the project will let you do the evaluations. In some cases, you might need the dollars and cents for the ROI chart and when the break even is. But the beauty is I don't have to actually track down any of these individual sheets of paper. I don't have to go through 13 different PDFs, and I certainly don't have to go to the 12 different manufacturer websites to go hunt down this specific product. This has all just been dragged over and basically put in a folder for you, and it's ready to process either ROI, energy, water, or any of the green documentation. So we're going to cover that in 1 second, but I wanted to stop here. If there are any questions on kind of the static presentation that I've shown you so far and how we will now proceed with the live demo?
None so far, Paul.
All right, let's go. So I will go to the live demo without further ado and click into it. So our main platform is just eeba.ecomedes.com. It knows that I'm already logged in because I was playing around earlier. But if I were to log out, you'd see it as sign up login. It'll have a cookie in your browser. So once it knows who you are, email address, password, it's there just to create a little space on the server for you guys to save your work. I'll kind of show you in reverse and show you the most powerful part of it is that it creates this project. And if I had multiple projects, multiple homes, multiple subdivisions, or multiple multifamily projects I was working on, it would basically roll up all these costs, all this impact, all these estimated savings for every one of my client projects, all the way up. So me, Paul Shahriari, would have kind of this running CV of all the energy and water I've saved off the grid for my clients, for myself, and then show that estimated savings as a roll up. So if I had multiple projects here, every project would roll up to this main line number. I grew up playing video games in the 80s. You always wanted to be at the top score of Galaga or Miss Pac-Man. It's kind of the idea behind this. And again, as we get carbon online, there'll be another line here for carbon. But it's basically grabbing all the data I wanted to per product and just throwing it into an evaluation. So if I wanted to know about this light fixture, it's Energy Star certified. All the data that you have in our system will be date and source stamped. So here it is, Energy Star 1/11/2023. It uses 12 watts of energy. The light output is 850 lumens, and its luminaire efficiency is 71. So it has all the information, where it's available. Here I can run a 5-year analysis. So you can always change the length of analysis. You can change the operational hours per day if you want. You can go in here and say, you know, this multifamily project needs 1,000 of these light fixtures across, you know, maybe 10 units or however it is. And I'll say this light fixture is going to cost me, say, $25. So it's comparing it to $15 light fixture to the 25, you know, green one, 274 watts of the normal consumption to the 12, and then I'll just generate an ROI chart for you. So you kind of see what the overall cost impact was. And then over time, every month, it'll show you that you're saving about 68,000 kilowatts of energy, resulting in about $10,000 worth of savings if you deployed that many lights into your project. It'll then convert it to the years. And then whatever the length of analysis is, it'll constantly convert it. So if you needed a 3-year payback analysis, it will just automatically redo the calculation. If I went to 10, it would do it for 10. So it's really kind of responding to whatever your inputs are, and it takes this data up here and lets you forward process that. If you want the information directly from Energy Star, if you click on this identifier, it'll then take you right to that exact product on Energy Star. So always, wherever we can, we'll always send you back to what we call the source of truth. And that way you'll see what's available and where did it come from. So we're always trying to say, hey, this is the data. This is our great data partner. If you want any more information, you can always kind of dive in to get more. And basically, if I like that product, and what I did on that product page I didn't show you is I just added it to a project. So if I want to create a new project called, demo 2, say I like it a lot and I want to use it for my next house, throw in the zip code, I hit save, and now that demo 2 project is added. And now I have that one product with its impacts available, and I can make changes to that project based on whatever else I found for that light fixture. Hit save. And again, now I can show, okay, there's an upfront cost, but there's a payback, but that's with a quantity of 10. What if I needed 100? It'll automatically hit save. It'll rerun the calculation, and the order of magnitude for energy savings and dollar savings changes automatically. So it's a very, very straightforward way of being able to find the data you want and moving forward. So now we're going to start back at the top and say, well, how do I play with this? How do I get the most out of this? Search by impact is a great way to do that. You can actually just find things that'll help you save ROI. So if I click on save by impact ROI, it's now gotten me information from Energy Star and WaterSense and a couple other things, because things in Energy Star and WaterSense also have LCA, EPD, DLC qualifications and declare. So if I wanted to know, wow, that's kind of cool, I want to go down to a product category, I can further refine ROI by plumbing. And now I'm going to get to the 40,000 products that are plumbing systems that'll save me water. And then I have every single brand listed here. So if I said American Standard, now I'm going to get essentially American Standard's entire catalog of EPD and WaterSense certified products. And I can further keep using data to refine. So I went from 850,000 products down to a single brand's entire catalog. And if I'm looking for single flush toilets, I now have 267 results. These results, once you get into a performance category like lighting or plumbing, you'll notice that there's another filter up here. We call this the performance filter. You can actually see it by gallons per flush, impact score, products with an image, popularity, brand name. So gallons per flush is a default, and it's going to show you the best performing product in this category. So if you had a dual single flush toilet, you wanted a 1 gallon flush Vormax, here it is, the model number. Here the information's coming in from a couple different sources, but the EPD is coming in from UL Environment. The 1 gallon per flush is coming in from WaterSense. So in some cases, we merge 2 data sources together to give you the best possibilities. You have an external link out to the product page or the specifications back on American Standard. And again, we've sourced all this data to make your life easier. If you wanted to know what other finishes it was available in, any of the specs, parts, you can kind of do that at American Standard. But if we're just kind of going with this demo, you can say, I need a 5-year analysis. My project has 100 bedrooms or baths in the units. This toilet's being sold to me for $275, and there's 500 people in the occupancy of this multifamily. It'll exactly take all the data above, take all the parameters of your project below, and now give you a really nice ROI chart to show whether it's the owner, the developer. Here is the process. I'll save this many gallons per month, this many per year, this over the total length of analysis. And if the developer said, I need a 3-year payback, you can show them that. If they're okay with a 10-year payback, they can see this. So operating costs and the operating budget of water and watts are all available to you. And if this all pencils and you like it and you want to add it to the project, I'm just going to show you how quickly I can add all this information to my demo 2, hit save. And now if I go to my projects, I have 2 projects. These numbers are going up because I'm getting better and better at picking greener stuff. And now demo 2 has the light and the toilet tank. And I can just replicate this and say I needed 100. The price was $425. Hit save. And now I've got an energy chart. And in the same project, I have a water chart. And these are now going to be on the same length of horizon. So once you put things in a project, just to point out, you'll have the same horizon window for ROI. You can't have them independent. On a product page, you can have them however you want. Once you put it in a project, the ROI is going to be synchronized across whatever time horizon you want. And then if I updated this to how it was on the product page, and then put in a baseline toilet with a baseline flush rate, hit evaluate, and it'll generate that documentation for us. So without any effort, I've got the two products. Overall savings are calculated, water savings and energy savings broken out by year, by month, by total, and all the other backup documentation for those energy raters, those water raters, GRES analysts, all that information is available so that you don't have to go out hunting for it. It's all nicely summarized. And the impact of every product is also subtotaled as part of the roll up to an overall project. So that's a nice thing. We have a project overview as number one. Each product involved in the project is number two. When I hit download PDF in a couple seconds, it's going to do what I used to take a couple weeks to do for our clients. Here's that summary of the project. Again, EEBA notified here, water savings, energy savings, and every product has its own little cut sheet with its own individual impact analysis underneath it. That's PDFable. Any hyperlink in these documents remains active, so you can send it to somebody and then get hyperlinked right to the data. So that's one of the ways to kind of use the search by impact. You can also search by category. So say you were looking at construction materials like we were before, and then we went into a subcategory like gypsum and plasterboard. Some people call it wallboard. So you can now grab all these buckets, and now you'll know all the product manufacturers that have products in this database, and you can then further refine it by only the ones maybe that have a health product declaration. So with one or two clicks, you've now gotten to 32 products from the 32 or less than 32 manufacturers that have it. So all that research that used to take time or effort, you had to call somebody else, kind of stop your workflow, it's all available to you. And if you wanted to compare some of them, you could say, I want to add these to a comparison. So unlike adding to a project, it kind of puts a little blue arrow circular around the actual baseball card. And then you can go in here and say, I want to know what these are going to be. So I'm going to grab a couple of these and put them into a comparison window for us to play around with. Do this Proform, do this other one over here. And now I'll grab all those data sets, and instead of having to build my own little grid, now I've got all this drywall product side by side. So they all have an HPD. Only one has an EPD. Most of them meet California 1350. They all have Green Guard except for this one over here. Some of them have recycled content. Some of them have renewable materials to provide you manufacturing location data, antimicrobial free, and then some general characteristics. So a lot of data is available to you, and you don't have to go really understanding all the ways that we got it. You just say, what product are you looking for and what category? And those comparisons can be made available fairly quickly. And again, I'll put this in the chat and Aaron can send it out to you guys, but it'll take this entire query. And if you needed some more help evaluating the options, anybody on your project team that has that link that you put in an email or Slack, they'll be able to get it and then also evaluate it and maybe provide some more commentary on maybe what is the driver for that decision. Another way to do the searching that's popular is actually to look for the certification first. So if I wanted to see products that say are WaterSense certified, and I went in reverse and said, I'm only looking for plumbing fixtures and say shower heads department, and now I've got 13,000, that's still a lot, but I only want to look at ones from say Delta. So really that quickly you go to 947 products from Delta, and then you'll have whichever ones you might need for a shower kit, in this case 1.5. You can do the same kind of calculations on occupancy, how much water will save. If it meets your guidelines, add to a project, grab it into demo 2, hit save. And now my project for demo 2 has 3 SKUs. And now I've got one more thing that saves water. I'll put in 100 here, put in the price, hit save. And what's nice is if you have multiple products in one project that'll save water, now you'll have 2 things of an ROI chart. So you'll have the shower head. This is that shower head's ROI. And then if I want to look at the Vormax, that's when the break even happens. But if I have both projects, I break even pretty quickly around September of 2026. And then the water budget calculations get applied to the same number of people. So I will stop there and see if anyone has any directed questions or would like to see a part of a demo that I haven't yet covered. Or Aaron, if you have a specific thing you'd like me to showcase.
Yeah, again, if you have a question, put it in the Q&A section. Can you kind of go through the EPD portion? I know that's a question people have, is what materials have EPDs? I think I was kind of surprised by something that you had showed where I thought, oh, maybe toilet, like MEP is kind of notorious for not having EPDs, or at least that's
yeah, they're all getting better. There's a bunch of stuff in the Recovery Act that actually I think provides $100 million worth of support to manufacturers in categories that don't yet have LCA data. MEP is one of those. Plumbing manufacturers like Kohler, American Standard, Toto have kind of led the way with EPDs. But if you click on the carbon impact button there on the main page, what you'll see is a bunch of data. And then if you go in here and just click on EC3, which is a data source for EPDs, and you do EPDs and you do LCA, these will all be ands. So it's either this or this or this. So we have 24,000 products as results that have something related to life cycle assessments. EPDs are just verified, third-party verified LCAs with a PCR, product category rule, and EC3 is just another data source that we get data from. And here now you have all the product categories. So if you want to go into, say, HVAC and mechanical, like pure HVAC and mechanical, you'll have this duct board and duct socks that have it. Not a lot of obviously mechanical equipment yet, but I think that's coming. There's a lot that are working on it. If I unclick that, I can go in and still find things in other categories that might help me. Doors and windows has opportunities. So if I click into doors and windows, you'll see Sage Glass has some information and view. Smart Glass has an EPD available. So as you kind of start building out your repertoire in this space, you have access to this data. And as it gets better, like I said, every month we're updating this data set. So in plumbing, if you just hit plumbing systems, EPDs or LCAs, you'll actually see a running list of all the brands. So American Standard has some, Dolphin, Franz, Grohe, Hukwang Industries, Kohler, Sloan, and Toto. So very, very quickly, if you were to try to put this out as a builder and say, I'm going to start dipping my toe in the water on, LCA type data or EPD data, here at least you kind of know where you're at in terms of maybe price point, design preferences, and what distributors you might need to talk to in your region, and then validate that whether or not, cast iron bathtub is needed by your clients in an EPD type of setting. There's other products that might be a little bit more important and might have a little bit more coverage to give you more design bandwidth, but this is starting to get a lot better.
Yeah.
Unlike the duck brand, so that's something I always check every week, actually, to be honest. I'm kind of a nerd on this. I like to know where are these things coming from and in what categories are we growing. If you go to building finishes, it's a little bit lopsided. We have 23,000 choices for you across a whole plethora of subcategories. So this is kind of where having all that data is helpful, but it also helps, especially design builders. Many of you kind of design your own homes, design your own models. If you're setting forward standards, this actually helps you understand whether or not setting that standard might limit the number of brands you can work with.
Right. That's a good point. Paul, we had a question come in. Can you show a search for building gaskets that can be located between framing that do not off gas? So I think what we'd be looking for is, I don't know if it'd be a California 1350 rating on building gaskets.
Yeah, that's one thing that's very specific. So I'm going to tell you a limitation of this world is that many of these data sources that have these designations, right? They are not all the best at categorizing products the way you guys buy them. So imagine 81 on-ramps to a single one-lane road. These are the sources of data. Now, knowing what I know about the space and the industry, you're looking for off-gassing. So I preemptively would start checking off UL Green Guard. I would check off SCS Advantage. I would sequence it, and then probably, not exactly sure, but I would go up into construction materials and then look for a subcategory that's probably tied to it. So we have air barrier, I don't know if that's right, but I'm gonna just click air barrier. So this is a Latacrete wet applied thing. If I go in here somewhere else, composite decking, composite panels, engineered wood. I know it's not an expansion joint cover, so that's not right. Let's see here, gaskets. I don't have a subcategory gaskets. I can see that by right now, but it probably is not that we don't have it. It's probably that we haven't gotten that data in the exact way. Sealants is a big catch-all, so I think a lot of those things, but I think what you're saying is like a preformed gasket.
Yeah, and if you want to clarify that, if the person in the audience wants to clarify that question, but yeah, you can see that you'd have an ability to search by VOC tested level through GreenGuard or SCS. Essentially the California 1350 compliance, and then go back and see if there's something that is
and what's nice, if you know the name of the brand, like the name of the manufacturer, as soon as you type in a brand, if we have it and you spell it right, then it'll pop up as an opportunity right here. So if I go to Synac, this will be all the things that Synac makes as concrete coatings. And this manufacturer has 9 products on our system. But as soon as you know the brand, please just go to the main EEBA site and just type in the brand that you're searching for. And if we have the data, we immediately will find out what that brand is. So in this case, Synac, if you said you were looking for that, what's nice is you'll see that these UL GreenGuard certificates I began my search with, they're checked off. That means they have it. 7 of them have Declare, 7 of them have EPD, 7 of them have an HPD. So their entire catalog is pretty well represented if you were looking for that product detail, but it's obviously not a sealant, so then it ends up not making sense anymore. So think about that, but that's the easiest way. If I were you, just put in the name, and that way we either have it or don't, but that way you'll kind of in reverse find your results faster, much faster. But I'll look on that. That's one thing that we're always working on with our product category managers and our data enrichments. If that company that you're using was a member of EEBA and they enriched their data, we would have that sealants or gaskets all as part of their product categorization tree that goes category, subcategory type.
Yeah. Oh, that's great.
Great question.
Paul, what about a more simple search where, I think a lot of people with the Inflation Reduction Act want to hit Energy Star for a home and make sure that they're making all of the selections within Energy Star. Can you kind of show an example of that? So I want the $2,500 rebate. I want to select all Energy Star materials. I've gone to Energy Star certified. How do I go through and now I start to select?
Yeah, so you just click Energy Star as the eco-label. So the first filter is eco-label, Energy Star. You have 56,000 choices. And in every category of Energy Star, you can just start clicking on the product category like appliances and any of the things you're buying for the house, whether it's a dehumidifier, clothes washer, dryer, residential dishwasher, freezer, all that stuff, room air cleaner. Click all the ones you want and then just find a product per category and drop it in. So this is an active list. It's always being updated. If you hover over the data, you'll see that we got it last month. We're going to be updating it in the next 30-day cycle. It'll pull in, and then you'll have all the information. Its energy consumption, the baseline energy consumption for that category. And also we have a filter that's called most efficient criteria. So if you're trying to optimize against the top 25 of the top 30, which is Energy Star, there's another designation for you. And again, you just grab it, drop it in your project. And that way, if you needed to document that work with one of the projects you're doing, then you'll be able to get that information put right in and just add it to the list. So that's kind of how a lot of builders are using it right now. They'll just go through here, pick all the stuff. Okay, now I'm done with my appliances. I'll click out of appliances, go back to my product category. Now head to HVAC, water heater. Obviously, the ventilation fans are the two, and depending on what climate you're in, maybe a furnace. But like if you needed the ventilation fan credit, here's all the ventilation fans again, and here's all the brands you can choose from. So some of them have, like GreenHeck, chosen to sponsor this process and get all their data in, and they have all the information available on where to do it, how to do it. And then if you want to go back, you can always go back to the product page and get to that where to buy. So okay, that's the way most builders do it. They'll do the same thing for WaterSense, and they just rinse and repeat. This is really good because you can actually just buy direct and get that stuff over with.
Yeah. Paul, the the type of gasketing was the sill sealer.
Okay, so
Let's just see if we have anything with sill sealer.
yeah.
It's
All
sill
right.
sealer.
So
Oh, you've got a dyslexia on the go sill sealer.
oh yeah, sorry.
That's all right. SILL.
Yeah. No, if I could just look at my screen and type at the same time. So sill sealer, yeah, pro grade, roof sealer, seam sealer. I'm just going to type this and hit enter. General search doesn't always work, but it's looking like there's lots of ones, but not exactly probably what this gentleman's looking for. Yeah, so that's the one thing about just the random search is this kind of elastic search is not always good unless we have somewhere in our database under the product name or the brand name, the word sill sealer just like that. You're gonna have a lot of kind of maybe odd results, but we're working on making it better. So I'll put that in.
So Paul, in that case, it'd be better to search by brand of sill sealer, maybe one that you typically use, and then be able to see what data they might have.
Absolutely, yeah. Because, you know, remember this data is coming in from people that aren't our clients. So all this data for this product came into us from the HPDC, the Health Product Declaration Collaborative. So we had no control of this. And what they did is they just said, we're going to cover all of our bases. So they gave us the data of construction materials or miscellaneous, subcategories, coatings, sealers, and waterproofing, and type is a water repellent. So when we put in a categorization, that top search bar, I didn't have a sill sealer, but it matched sealer. So therefore, that's why this is coming up. But these groups that do the certification, they're trying to get a lot better as to how things are working. We're working right now with the largest plumbing distributor in the United States, and they're giving us all their granular data of like what actually is on the shelf. So that's giving us really good data for plumbing fixtures because now we have model numbers, bowl types, tank types, 4 different colorways. It's going to make the database a lot better, and pictures for almost everything in water sense. So that's one of the things we're trying to constantly get better. If we can get one in the construction materials distribution world, I bet you sill sealers and waterproofing and gaskets and all that stuff will become a little bit easier.
Oh, that's great.
Great question.
Paul, can you give us a little preview of our next session? And maybe, I don't know if you want to show something from mortar, because I think it's really interesting. It's almost like, you know, you're grabbing a picture of a set, you know, almost like a kitchen set for a house, and maybe we can show something that's a little bit more residential.
Yeah. So if I typed in, say, kitchen, and it's 3 ways to search graphically, the companies involved with pictures that were loaded as kitchen, and then the projects that were actually featured as kitchen. So I'm not sure if we're going to get exactly what we want, but let's just
Scandinavian kitchen just for me.
so here we're getting a bunch of pictures of outdoor kitchens, but ultimately you can kind of see that if you had the products in there, let's see which ones are. Well, actually, let me do this. So you have a way to search. You can actually search by sector, by space, by product type, professional type, or green type. So let me just start selecting some of the green designations. And that's one of the reasons why we acquired them, is we wanted to do a better job at this stuff. So let's pop into this one. And what it allows us to do is say, okay, this is a beautiful picture, very high tech. I wouldn't consider this, I guess, Scandinavian, but kind of a cool galley style kitchen. But Durasane is one of our clients and a client on mortar. And it allows me to go, oh, let me know more about this information. I can request a sample. I can send a message to the brand. I can download the spec. Eco data means that it has data on Ecomedes. So if I clicked on Eco data, it's going to send me to that entire line of Durasane products that have Ecomedes data and all the underlying HPDs and food grade requirements. So I have the ability to do that. I can also request a sample. It'll go to their sampling center. And now on Material Bank, I'll have all the things that I'm looking for in terms of samples. And I can constantly go through more and more images to get more and more inspired by what we're looking at. So here's another beautiful example. So you as a builder can create a free profile on mortar, take all your glorious pictures of the last house you did at Super Green, and these 2 Melee or Bosch, double ovens, the sink, the faucet, the countertop, the flooring, even the furniture, the lighting, the hidden refrigerators back here that might be Thermador or Gaggenau. All that stuff could be green dotted. You put in all your project contributors. I was the builder. I loaded the project, but it allows you to do that. And if you tag Durasane as a beautiful solid surface manufacturer, you can tag the product and then you find the brand on our stuff. So if I go in here and place the tag, you can go in there and say, I want to create a tag, and it will actually say search by brand. So I could have added another Duracell thing. They'll get a notification and they'll validate for us whether or not you actually use their stuff. So you can't like fake identify, an Armstrong floor with interface or vice versa. But it's a very, very straightforward process. What I love the most about Mortar as a person that does this work is I can go to save. I can save that inspiration to a design room that I already have. And now anyone that's playing around with me on a project, we did this work for Casada actually in Austin. They were doing these tiny high performance homes. And now if I close this out, again, it's free. I have a design room called Casada. These were actually homes that were built by a home builder. And he got all the pictures that he wanted, and he wanted to showcase all the things that they did in that project view. So now this project might be a new thing that they want to use in the next project. And now he and the rest of the project team have access to this nice countertop, and we can cycle through the various different products that were used inside of that kitchen.
Nice.
So this is how another builder has used it, identified the reclaimed wood, all the things that they used. Obviously, micro HVAC, a little tiny desk, but it allows you guys to have not only the beauty of the picture, but add that intelligence, as we call it, to the actual workflow that you guys are trying to enable.
Awesome. And Paul, one question that came in, I mean, I think with the EEBA Ecomedes site, we've tried to curate everything to the residential construction industry. What if we're doing a big commercial project? Can you tell us more about the entire universe that is Ecomedes, if somebody's looking to use that?
Yeah, so we have a products.ecomedes.com, which is what feeds every day. We basically curate for EEBA. So EEBA is just a curated version. So everything that we have on all of our platforms are always what we call synchronized and syndicated. So it's a very good question. Most of the products we've taken out of the EEBA ones are just product categories that just didn't matter. We probably haven't only excluded because many of the certification bodies don't say this is commercial, residential, or both. So probably most of it matches up. But if you're ever worried that you might not have the full complement of products, you can always check on products.ecomedes.com. But if you look at the certifications and ecolabels and the numbers of products very closely, and I do, you'll see that there's a very, very large overlap, but you will find everything under the sun underneath the products.ecomedes.com. But the sources of that truth, the data lake that drives both sites, are identical and the same functionality. So any feature, any evaluation, any ROI chart you see on EEBA is the same one you'd get on products. Products just might have a little bit wider aperture. If you get the photography picture, it's a little bit maybe wider lens, but not by too much.
And Paul, one I'm not familiar with is DLC qualified. What is that?
Yeah, so DLC qualified is the Design Lights Consortium, and in product categories where Energy Star wanted to do lighting but not touch commercial, DLC basically is a different style of database that's a lot more robust on the commercial side. So, light bulbs, they have 264,000 that are graded there and 278,000 light fixtures. So as we move to solid state products, you'll see a lot of light bulbs actually go away, and it'll be a light fixture for good or bad. A lot of these new fixtures are designed now, whether or not they last the 30,000 hours that they say they will, 25 years, that remains to be seen. But DLC is an alternative source that the Department of Energy allows to do commercial grading, because Energy Star knew it couldn't do enough testing to cover the commercial side as it exploded with the transition very quickly from incandescence and fluorescence almost exclusively to the LED market.
Fantastic.
But great question. And they have things like horticultural lighting. So if you're doing a development and you have low impact landscape lighting, things like that, they've got that. Also in horticultural lighting is all the grow houses that are being proliferated around the world. These also have an entire category just for grow lights for indoor hydroponics, and all the lettuce and hothouse tomatoes and cucumbers we're getting at Costco. Those are all in there too. So but you'll see both Energy Star and WaterSense, just so you guys know, we know that there's no pictures here. We're working desperately to try to get manufacturers to give us pictures. Lighting has all the right data. It just, unfortunately, it is lacking of the pictures, but we're trying to work with some distributors to at least build up that repertoire, both that you can buy at the distributor, but also give you some more pictures, other product details. DLC just passes us these 4 things, which aren't, you know, as nice as we saw with Kohler and some of the other products. So we're working on that. Any brand that you want to have as a partner with EEBA, tell them to talk to Aaron and the team. They could join, become sponsors, and they can enrich their entire product catalog like Certainteed and GreenHack. And with one click, you just click on the GreenHack logo and you'll end up right at GreenHack's, essentially their EEBA catalog. So here you have all their information, all the data you might want. And what's beautiful is they have links back to wherever you want to buy it on the product page. So that they did a very good job, I think, of making it easier for you guys to find the data instead of pouncing around Energy Star.
Fantastic. Well, Paul, I want to thank you so much. I think that you and I both hope that this is an incredible game-changing tool for the residential high-performance industry to find everything that exists that's a sustainable attribute for products. So I want to thank you for your continued partnership. I hope this is valuable to everyone. We'll have a recording of this available at eeba.org, both in our EEBA Academy, and I think we'll put it on the Ecomedes site on the EEBA link as well, Paul, so people can watch it coming in, learn how to set that up. But I know we had a couple energy raters that we showed this to, and they're like, where has this been all my life? So maybe it's not, maybe it's a tool for you, maybe it's a tool for your energy rater, but we think it's an incredibly helpful tool for the entire industry.
Well, thank you. We appreciate the support, and let us know, anyone that's had this training or is watching it later, please let us know how we can make it better. Please let us know what categories aren't covered. We want to constantly grow and evolve the platform. So thank you all for your time.
Great. Thanks, Paul.
Bye-bye.